Oh yeah, filming in a new location. Let me know if you guys like it. Is it too bright? You're too bright. Hopefully this isn't too bright. If I film this whole video and then have to redo it, I won't be biased. Where were we? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing the first ever book club. I've started a lot of series this year, and this is going to be another one. This is going to be a new series I want to start with you guys, where kind of like coffee talks, we make a cup of coffee and sit and talk about life. Book talks, or the book club, is going to be pretty much the same thing, except we're going to talk about specific books. Now for today's video, because the book club wasn't already started, I'm just going to go ahead and give my review on this book here. I'm doing The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, but stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you guys the other nonfiction that I've just started reading so that you guys can run out, grab it, we can all read it together, and then at the end of each book that I finish reading, I'm going to post one of these videos where we talk about the book, or I'll make a video based on the book itself, like I have some ideas for the next one, and yeah, that's going to be the premise of our book club, our Co's Book Club with a K. Now I feel like it's too dark. Whatever. I'm just gonna keep going. For today's video, I'm gonna be talking about The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I read this book, I just finished reading it actually on my Thailand trip. Was the very last day. It was the last night that I was there that I skimmed my eyes across the last pages, and I'm definitely feeling like I might have to reread this book because it was almost so simple that it was hard to grasp. Like, he really does simplify life, and he simplifies everything in a way that makes it easy for us to just tune into the now and live our lives. But because it was almost so simple, it made it complicated for me to fully wrap my head around a lot of the concepts of this book. It's only because it was that deep, you know? It was really gauging my ability to try and see the world in a new way, or see the world through the eyes of Eckhart Tolle. In terms of this book, I've summarized everything that it's pretty much taught me thus far. I mean, round one, I'm gonna have to definitely reread it for round two. In terms of what I learned from it so far, let us begin. Number one is that time is an illusion. That is like one of the biggest things that he talks about, especially in the beginning of this book. I started reading this via audiobook actually when I was driving to, come join us. We have someone joining us today. So when we were driving out to South Carolina, I was listening to the audiobook, and I remember that being one of the biggest things that kind of stuck with me when I was listening to that portion of the book, was that time is an illusion. And this is something that I've always kind of, excuse the train going by, this is something that I've always kind of had an idea about and always kind of believed in, but he put it in a way that was different than what I was used to. There was one part in particular where he talks about how the past and the future don't really exist, they're only mere reflections of the present, and that every moment you've ever lived in your life has always been in the now, hasn't it? And when he said that, I was like, oh my God, even the moment 5 minutes ago was now, but now it's in the past. And me thinking about it, or even talking about it right now, is using this moment, the now, to reflect on the past. It's so crazy because it's so simple, but when you say it like that, it sounds complicated. The way he put it was that when you reflect on the past, or you think about the future, the past and the future are like the moon and you're the sun, and you're using your energy and your light to reflect off of the moon, which is then giving the moon light, and it's giving the moon powers. So in a way, if you look at past, present, and future that way, the present moment, the now, is the sun, the future is the moon, the past is the moon. And so every time you live in the past or you live in the future, you're taking the energy of the now and the power of the now and reflecting it off of the future, or reflecting it off of the past. Does that make sense? You stress about the future, or you're depressed about the past, you're reflecting the light of the now onto it, even though it doesn't actually exist, even though it's not here. And so we fall into memory, or we fall into anticipation, rather than falling into the now and checking into this present moment right now and taking everything that comes with it and making the absolute most of it, so that you kind of stop being controlled and confined by time, and you start having the ability to just open your eyes and wake up to your life, and like wake up to right now even. I'm like, oh my God, I'm filming. As simple as that sounds, and as weird as that sounds, it brings such a serene sense of peace to look at life that way, because suddenly you realize all of the hidden pockets of opportunity that are sitting right in front of you at this exact second, and how spending your time and your energy in thinking about it going or being any other way is reflecting off of the energy you have now. The second thing that I learned from The Power of Now was how to connect to the now, or how to connect to the present moment. He goes into a lot of different meditations and ways to kind of pull apart the things going on around you to kind of tune into the now, almost like noticing the gaps of time between sounds. Even the gaps of time between the words I'm saying to you right now is suddenly pulling you into the present, because right now you're trying to catch the moments of silence between each of my words. And also connecting to your body and doing a scan of your body from top to bottom to just check into where your body is at, because that's also something that we tend to just run around in life and forget, and our bodies are just tracing behind us, and we don't even realize how we feel, we don't even realize how we think, we don't check in with our bodies even. And so even just doing a scan and even feeling how your liver feels, or how your kidneys feel, it sounds crazy, but when you sit in the moment and you meditate on it, you actually can feel it. It's like a pulse of energy where it feels either really good, or it feels like, you know what, I'm a little tired today, or kidneys are feeling a little sad. I don't know how your kidneys would feel sad, but you'll feel it. He also talks a lot about present moment awareness and doing things with your whole body, in the sense of not only just taking the meditation standpoint of scanning through your body, but when you're walking upstairs, suddenly being so aware that you're walking upstairs that you use every single muscle to actually put your foot down and lift up, and put your foot down and lift up, and you're so aware of the fact that you're doing it that you feel muscles in your body that you don't really recognize or notice on a day-to-day basis. And so doing things with full present awareness and checking into the now, it gives you that ability to not only do things fully, but be aware of the things that you're doing fully, and then because of that awareness, you see that when you're walking up the stairs, you notice something, and then it leads to something else. And so you're so tuned into the present moment that you're using your full ability and the full capacity of your life to live it. And then also accepting and surrendering to what is. And this is the part that I think I need to go back and reread. But for me, the thing I struggle with the most is resistance. I don't think I have a problem tapping into the now, but I think I do have a problem with resisting it, and it tends to boil up into my life and affect me, because I want to resist what is, and I have such an idea of how I want things to be. And I think that is where a lot of my anxiety can sometimes stem from, and it's where a lot of my self-doubt and feeling kind of crappy or just having a bad day. A lot of the times I think that just stems from me resisting what is and not even realizing that I was doing it. And so in reading the book, when he talks about resistance and how we need to just kind of surrender to what things actually are, it made it easy for me to wrap my head around the types of mindsets that I was putting on things that I didn't even realize I was kind of doing. The one thing in particular that he said that really stuck with me was forgiving every moment for what it is. You know what? I'm forgiving this moment for exactly what it is, so that I can accept it for exactly what it is, and take the pressure and the energy out of wishing it was something different, so that I can actually work with it to make something out of it. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it kind of does. I forgive this moment for not being what I want it to be, but I'm accepting it for what it is, so that I can try and make it into something that I want it to be. Accepting and surrendering to what is, so that you can make it something that you want, rather than trying or wishing or hoping that it was any other way. And last but not least, the third thing that I really took from The Power of Now was how to free your mind. And that is again, one of the things that I want to go back and reread this book so it's more deeply ingrained into my core, but basically this is what I took from it. Through your emotions, through your thoughts, and through your pain body. So in terms of your emotions, the way that our mind feels comes out through our emotions. So when you're aware of that, you can catch your emotions and then in turn figure out where your mind is actually at to fix said emotions. For instance, yesterday, I felt so icky. I felt so weird. All morning I couldn't shake this feeling, and it was such an emotion that was so strong, but I didn't know why it was happening, because I was so attached on the emotion that I couldn't get to the root problem. And so emotions were starting to come out without me knowing them because I was suppressing the way that my brain felt about something. And so I decided to just take the day, turn off my phone, go technology free for 24 hours, and just kind of sit and fester with those feelings and fester with those thoughts and fester with those emotions so I could connect to their root and really deal with them. And finding the cause of those emotions leads you to your thoughts, because our thoughts a lot of the times are what creates our emotions. And in order to free yourself from your thought, you almost have to become aware of your thoughts. And he talks about being like the silent watcher, which is cool because whenever I do tarot, so I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but anytime I do tarot, anytime I pull the card, the High Priestess, that is, to me anyways, the connection that I've kind of made with tarot is that that's my higher self. And so I kind of consider my higher self to be the watcher of my thoughts. Whereas I'm me, I'm just bubbling around, doing my thing. Sometimes I'm in a good mood, sometimes in a bad mood, but my higher self, or the watcher, as Eckhart Tolle would say, is more sitting back and just constantly watching everything I do and constantly watching everything I say. And sometimes if I can get quiet enough, I can tune into that part of my brain. And I think that it's something that you have to kind of work at like a muscle, but it's becoming aware and observing your thoughts rather than connecting to them and not judging the way you think, but just watching the way you think. In turn, this will give you the ability to catch yourself in negative thought patterns, and instead of judging yourself for it, which keeps you locked into those negative thought patterns, without that sense of judgment, you're able to catch yourself doing it and free yourself from it, rather than judge yourself, which only creates more negativity, which only makes you brood, feel like a victim, cycle continues. So instead, when you become the watcher of your thoughts, and the watcher of your emotions in a lot of way, you find the root of the problem, you don't judge yourself for the root of the problem, and then you just let it go. Free your mind, you know? And then the pain body being the part of you that is holding on to, you know, resentment, or is kind of harboring emotions that you haven't dealt with from your past, from maybe even past lives, if you believe in that. That is your pain body. Residual pain from the past. This can be a harder one to deal with because our pain body stems from a lot of past things that might be so deeply ingrained into our core, or embedded into our core, that sometimes it takes, you know, getting professional help to work those things out, meditation or whatever it is, to really get down to those roots and relieve ourselves from our pain body. But there's a way that he talks about that you can kind of do it on a daily basis if that's not something that you're able to do, or, you know, if you're looking for a bit more of a faster fix while you deal with your pain body, or while you deal with the bigger things in your life that might be really deeply rooted, and it's becoming almost transparent. This was one, I read this part in Thailand and it stuck with me so strongly, especially for flying home, where I was flying for like 24 hours. And of course you start to get, you know, irritable because you're tired, you didn't really get a good sleep. And this just kept on popping into my head, where he talks about almost making your body like a ghost in a way, where annoying sounds or little things that might usually trigger you, or something that might make you feel really upset or whatever, whether they be words, sounds, actions, you know, seeing something, reading something, you turn it transparent and you let it float through you rather than letting it hit you, catch, and hold on to it, especially when you're feeling impatient and irritable, like in traffic jam, and you got somewhere to be. You just let it float through you rather than being that density and letting it catch to you. I'm a very visual person, so when I visualize myself as being transparent, and things that bother me or things that are kind of getting to me going through me rather than hitting me, then it makes it easier for me to just let it go. I don't know why, but it's just such a serene thought process to kind of go through, even though Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about not holding on too much to visualizations of things. That type of visualization really works for me, so I think I might hold on to that one. Just let that negativity pass through you and continue moving on to the next whatever, and you just go on as you is, feeling great. So that concludes everything I learned so far from The Power of Now. I definitely, like I said, need to reread it, but there you have it. It's a life-changing book. I highly recommend it. This is Calm. This is the book we're going to be doing for the second video of book clubs. I think this will be a good one too. The actual way this book is written is it's more short, little tiny things to kind of keep you calm. For those of you guys that are watching that might not be super into reading or want to get into reading, then this will be a good one for us all to start with because I feel like everyone can enjoy this book. So I will leave a link to it down below if I can find it. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed my book club review for The Power of Now. If you guys can think of any book club names that we could call ourselves, definitely pop it down below. Anything that's hashtagable because hashtags are fun. So aside from that, I love you guys to the moon and back. I hope you guys enjoyed today's book club video. Hasta la pasta.